So I have the wonderful opportunity of going after that. My name is Zach. I'm a spoken word poet, and I'm gonna do a piece that I wrote for this. It's called "Just a Formality." All right. Yes, I knew her. Yes, we spent our days together, our nights together. I walked with her. I slept with her. I gave her the best years of my life. That's funny to say, life. You see, for me and her, life was just a formality because in all actuality, I haven't been alive in quite some time. My life was siphoned bit by bit through the screens she glued my eyes to, through the things she made me do. Life, that's a joke. And a good one at that. I've been walking dead for what feels like forever. However, she never took anything from me. Life. I willingly let her fool me into killing myself for years. She introduced me to the caskets and graveyards that far too often fill the hours of my days when I met her. She told me, "Follow me, kid, and I'll lead you to a place where you belong, a place where acceptance could be found in abundance." I asked her to take me there, and she said, "Stick with me and you'll wind up there eventually." I was so eager to belong, to matter, that I didn't care what I had to do. That was the first night I slept in her casket. I'd be lying if I said I hated it, because I loved it. I've spent the majority of my nights in a casket. But I remember the first night I upgraded from casket to grave. It was nice at first. But then when I would wake up in the morning, I would realize and notice the dirt that would be caked on my skin night after night after night. The dirt would build up until all anyone saw was the dirt and not the helpless boy inside. I asked her if she could clean me off, and she told me that I'd never be clean again, but that it was okay because no one's clean anyway. That was the night that she led me home to the land of the dead. The night I died for the first time. The night life lost its meaning, became just a formality. Death became natural in life, nothing more but a mere reminder of my cowardice. I began to rot. I would stumble through day after day after day and wait for night when her bat would put me out of my misery and take me to that place among the dead where I belong, that place that's so dark that it pulls around your eyes, forcing your sight to swim through the darkness. That's the way it went for years, until I heard him. I was stumbling through another meaningless day when a voice cried, "Zach, come out." And all of a sudden, I was able to see him standing there with tears in his eyes. I began to realize that the compositional makeup of the foundation of my life was lies. I was acutely aware of everything I had done, of the person I had become. It wasn't until his hands were drenched with the murky rivers of my cheeks that I realized that the pools around my eyes had begun to drain. Then he said, "I love you." All of a sudden, the scene shifted. He was no longer standing, but kneeling, a crown on his head, a cross on his back. He had stumbled, but his eyes had never left mine. Still framed in the same creases as before, it wasn't until his hands motioned to mine that I felt the weight of the bag that was filled with the dirt that was caked on my skin for all those years. He motioned to it and said, "Pour that on my shoulder and let me pay for that." Then he was hoisted up and murdered. What happened next, I'll never be able to explain. Because he was standing before me, alive, with a smile on his face and victory shining through him. In that moment, I knew I loved him, and that termination had to be implemented into my relationship with death. So I tracked Death down, and I told her, "Death, I can't do this anymore. You're killing me. You're suffocating me. I'm so sick and tired of your child's play. So eeny, meeny, miny, show yourself out the door. I don't care if you play for the Yankees, Red Sox, or Braves. My God has brought the graves of his people, so your bat won't hurt me anymore. So never show your face around here again." That was the day that life became more than just a formality. Thank you.